comes to mind when you heard the term communication technology? Let me guess. What? I know, I feel you. Welcome back to Trina Tech Talk. This is where I share tips, tools, and trends on technology solutions that you can use to elevate your business communications. We're live every Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook, so subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I'm Trina L. Martin. I am your technology expert. Today, I'm going to answer a few of the questions that I received from you about technology communications. So be sure to stick around because even if you didn't submit a question, you just might get the answer to one of your concerns. If you could change anything about how you're using communication technologies in your business, what would it be? What are some of your questions about technology communications? Well, if you're just tuning in, today is Q&A day. So let's dive right on in and let's start answering some of the questions. So I have a question here from Lynn, and she asked, what mistakes do companies make when it comes to communication technology? Well, some of the mistakes that I see companies making when it comes to communication technology is the fact that they think they can't afford it or they don't know what it is. They struggle and they don't seek out help. So they look at a company that may be way beyond them as far as their revenue and their clientele, and they think, oh, I can't afford it because can't afford that system that company there is using. When actually you shouldn't be trying to compete with any other company. Technology is not a one-size-fit-all solution. That's why you need to seek out and really discern what your business is and what you need, and then have someone to recommend the solutions that you need, because you see company B using a certain technology doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use that same technology. You can use something that's totally different, or maybe it will be the same. But don't just base what someone else is doing, what some other company is doing, and thinking that you have to use the same thing to operate and sustain your business, because that's not the case. Okay, my next question I have is from Latricia, and she asks, how secure are cloud services like Dropbox, Google Drives, and MS Teams? Well, if you saw the show a couple of weeks ago, I did one series on cloud-based storage, and then I did another episode on cloud computing. It was like a part 1 and a part 2. And cloud-based services are pretty secure. They're more secure than you securing and storing your files and important documents, videos, what have you, on your physical computer. Most cloud-based storage and computing services are encrypted. So they're encrypted at rest, which means once your data and your information are on their servers, it's encrypted. So that if anyone tried to hack the cloud-based computing service, they wouldn't get your information because it would be all scrambled. Then while your information is in transit, they usually use secure means of transferring it. And when I say in transit, what I mean is when you're using, let's say, the Dropbox app on your phone or even your desktop, and you're moving a file from your desktop to your folder in Dropbox, that channel that it travels through from your desktop to Dropbox servers is secure. So those are the first two ways. And then the third way is the big companies like the Dropbox, the Microsoft, Azure, Amazon, iCloud. They usually have redundancy, which means that they have your information backed up and stored on many different servers. So if one server went down, there's another one that has it and that you'll always have access to it. So that's why it's so important to use cloud-based services, because you will always have access to your information from anywhere and at any time. It is a lot safer than putting that information on your hard drive, because you just think about it. If your computer goes bad or your hard drive decides that it wants to die and you don't have a backup for your information, it's gone. Worst case scenario, if you get hacked and someone gets into your computer, a cyber criminal, and they decide to steal your information or lock it, again, you're out. You're basically, up the creek without a paddle. And a lot of times that can stop your business. And sometimes it could even really hurt your business, depends on how long you're down. So you want to go for cloud-based computing and storage so that you can have that redundancy, that encryption, and that ability to access your data anywhere and anytime. And also something that you can also add to also using a cloud-based service is you as well. You can use an external drive to back up your important information as well. So that way you have several different means of security and ways to get your information. So if you are considering a cloud-based solution or cloud-based computing, yes, they are secure. Okay, and then next, this last question is the most important of all. But before I go into that, I want to let you know that I am giving away a complimentary discovery call. So if you do have questions about what technology solution is right for you, please don't forget to go out and sign up for Discovery Call. And you can do that at discovery.trinalmartin.com. But here we're going to the next question. And the next question is from Jack. And he asks, what are your tips, my tips, for companies using communications technology? Well, some of my tips, the most important thing is security. You want to always make sure that you're communicating and using technology securely. And again, I did a previous episode on using technology securely. Some of the ways that you can use technology communication securely just off of bat in general is we think about passwords and things like that. But what I like, and I'm a very big advocate of, is the two-factor authentication. So whenever you are using an app that offers two-factor authentication, use it. And Google has an authenticator, Microsoft has an authenticator, several other companies have authenticators where you sign up and you put the app or the program that you're using, you let them know in this authenticator. And every time you go to log in, you log in with your username and your password, but it also will ask you for that 6-digit code, which is sent only to that authenticator that you set up. So you can't just type anything in, and unless you have that actual code from that authenticator for that particular software program, you won't be allowed in, even if you do have the correct username and password. So that's the first and foremost thing. Some other tips that I want to point out and make you aware of is secure texting and messaging. And I am a big fan of Signal, and Signal is free and it's end-to-end encrypted. So if you want to communicate with your team or even your clients securely and do it on a common platform, because nowadays everyone has different platforms. Some people have iPhones, some people have Androids. But if you want to get on a common platform and know that it's secure, chatting with your team, and you can do voice calls and you can do video chat, Signal is something that I highly recommend. That's something that I've used for years. I love it. I also use a app called Wickr, and it's WICKR. They were developed for the military, secure communications, but they also have plans for businesses and even individuals. And the next thing I want to make you aware of as well is when you're signing documents, if for your business, you need to sign contracts, you need to get things going. And in this day and age where we are now, we're not seeing people face to face. Slowly but surely, but we're not in, we're in a new normal. So things are going to be operating this way, and we might as well embrace it and learn how to use technology to sustain our businesses. And I want to talk about digital signing of documents. No longer do you have to put documents in the mail or fax them, and I don't know who still has a fax, but if you have contracts or documents that you need clients to sign, think about digitally signing them. There's, I like Adobe Sign. That's what I personally use. There are other digitally signing document software programs out there. There's DocuSign and some other popular ones, but that's something that you can think about when you have to have documents signed, and time is of the essence. And regardless of whether you need the contract signed today or next week, it's still something that's secure, and you can do it, and you can have a response fairly quickly by sending your client a link to that document. So those are the top 3 questions that I wanted to answer today. What have you learned that will impact your business today? I hope you learned something from the answers and the questions that I answered today.